The Los Angeles Lakers drafting Lonzo Ball seemed like the perfect storm. Zoe was a Cali kid, went to UCLA, and to top it all off, he was this ultra-hype prospect who just so happened to get drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers. And of course I use the phrase "just so happened" loosely because, in my opinion, the Lakers had fallen in love with not only the upside of the Cali product, but also the hype that LeVar Ball was selling. ZO2 going to the Lakers was much more than just a small coincidence. In my opinion, all of this only added to the fire. What am I talking about exactly? Well, I'm sure you'll understand as this video progresses. Shortly after the Lakers would draft Zoe, Magic would call Zoe the new face of the Lakers, expecting that the Lakers retire his jersey in the future. Look, I was as big of a Zoe fan as anyone, but talking jersey retirement before bro even plays a minute in the NBA is a little ambitious. To make matters worse, Magic would also go on to say that watching so much tape of him, you see yourself. You know what, this is bad as a Zoe fan, but I see where Magic Johnson was coming from. But at the same time, this is Magic Johnson that we're talking about. You know, the 6'9" guy who was undoubtedly one of the greatest point guards and passers to play the game. The point guard who could not only give you minutes at center, but also take over an entire game if he wanted to. With Magic, you could make a clear argument that he is in fact the best point guard to ever play the game. Am I going to do that at this exact moment? No, of course not. But I will say this. Some people are so lost in the revolution that surrounds the three ball, and look, I'm guilty of being lost in it too. With that being said, I can't discount how good some of the older generations were. Recency bias can be disheartening, and that's something that I have no shame repeating. Because I myself can admit that I do fall victim to recency bias, but that's something that I'm working on, and that's what really matters. To get back to Magic, Magic's versatility, IQ, timing, and how he made every single player on the floor a better version of themselves while being 6'9" was truly special. This is probably a bad time to bring this up, especially since I just gave Magic some premium gas, but Magic in the front office was not nearly as good as Magic Johnson the player. This man was and still is incredibly petty. Lakers fans, you guys know I don't even need to explain myself on this one. When he was asked about the departure of D'Lo after drafting Zoe, he said that, "We want to thank him for what he did for us, but what I needed was a leader. I needed somebody also that can make the other players better, and who is also somebody that players want to play with." I'll never be mad at somebody for keeping it real, but Magic low-key went in. D'Lo was really public enemy number one back in the day, and as a matter of fact, Nick Young still hasn't gotten over it. Anyways, I've always thought comparisons like this could turn players against each other. There's definitely a psychological component at play here. While I'll never truly know if D'Lo resented Zoe, I do know that other players did for reasons that weren't related to anything that he'd actually done. I'll always say that LeVar Ball did his thing with his kids, but man, did ZO2 have a target on his back before he even played a second of NBA basketball. Though Zoe never directly blamed LeVar, he did admit that there was a target on his back, saying that I feel like I had a target on my back before I even got into the league, because my family was always on TV and in the media, so I knew that coming in every time I stepped on the court, I was going to get everybody's best. And you have to have a certain mindset to go out there every night with that target on your back and be able to take the hits and keep going.
Are you saying Lonzo better than LeBron?
Yes.
Bossy.
You lost me on that.
Hey, can't move that fast.
Your guy shooting 23% from the
You can
three-point
shoot
line.
10%.
40% from the free throw line. How can he be better than the GOAT?
Trying to find your way in the NBA is hard enough. Trying to find your way as a rookie with a target? Not ideal. Then shortly after that, you had the pressure of playing with an NBA legend that has one thing on their mind. That's different. When ZO2 moved out of the spotlight, got a fresh start, and joined the Pelicans, it was clear that this move was in the best interest of his career, and at the time as a fan, I couldn't be happier. Zoe, Zion, B.I., I was locked in. At one point, I actually low-key felt bad for B.I. because it felt like the team, or maybe more so media outlets, weren't really showing him the love that he deserved. I saw so much Zoe and Zion propaganda that it was actually getting ridiculous. In New Orleans, Zoe would fix his jump shot, before taking it to new heights in Chicago this past season. Unfortunately though, this past season in Chicago, Zoe would only play 35 games before missing the rest of the season with an injury that was originally diagnosed as a bone bruise. It would later be revealed that in fact, what Zoe had suffered was a torn meniscus. After undergoing surgery for this torn meniscus January 28th, the reports would be everything but consistent. But one thing would remain consistent, and that's that every time he tried to ramp up, he'd get shut back down. Eventually, the front office would just agree that Zoe didn't have any business playing another game of the 2021-2022 season. Here's a quick refresher that earlier in the year, according to the Cap Man, there were serious concerns within the Bulls front office about Lonzo Ball's knee. Here's another refresher from one of my last Zoe videos that LeVar Ball said that he should be ready for the season this year because he's going to stay out here in Los Angeles and get it done the right way. Sometimes you have to get your own guy to say, okay, this is how we got to do this. LeVar went on to say that he told Lonzo if all else fails, go back to the basics, which is come back to me and let me get you right because you were never hurt when you were with me. Basically, LeVar felt that the Bulls took the wrong approach in trying to get Lonzo back up and running after his surgery, given that Zoe did already have a bone bruise in his knee. LeVar noted that the team's training staff should have had Zoe do most of his rehab in the pool, as well as strengthen the other muscles around the knee, rather than do the usual out-of-water rehab. Let me know what you guys think about what LeVar said down in the comments below. Let's backtrack a bit. LeVar said that Zoe should be available to start the season. Well, 2 months ago, the Bulls' vice president of operations said that he is progressing. That's as much as I can say. He's getting better, probably not at the speed that we would like, but he is getting better. Hopefully, he's going to be ready for training camp, but that's just our hopes. When I heard this, I was kind of like, well, it could be worse. Since he's still getting better, I know it's not at the pace that the Bulls would like, but at least he's still getting better. That's what really matters at the end, right? While I'm still optimistic about Zoe's return to action, there was this report that dropped a week ago that really kind of makes me feel some kind of way. This report by Ramona Shelburne states that while his knee is structurally sound, because of lingering pain and discomfort following surgery, there are some expectations that he may miss camp and is doubtful for the start of next season. If you guys watched the Chicago Bulls play basketball last season, you would know that Zoe missing the start of next season would be a brutal blow for the Chicago Bulls. He's pivotal for a team that lacks playmaking and three-point shooting depth. Go ahead and rank some of the Bulls' top playmakers. I just want to see something. Anyways, on top of that, Zoe is a top-notch versatile defender. He's the type of player that you could drop on virtually any team and they get better. When he got hurt last season, the Bulls got way worse. It's as simple as that. Injuries were not friendly to the Bulls at all last year, and this is a trend that has grown all too familiar for one of the most dedicated fan bases in the league out in Chicago. You know what though? Let's take the glass half full approach. The knee is structurally sound, and without a doubt, he has to be working with some of the best trainers in the business, right? There's no doubt in my mind that Zoe will return to hooping at a high level. The question really is just when will that be for Chicago? I really hope Io, DeMar, Zach, and the gang are ready for whatever this upcoming season holds. The Bulls are an exciting team with a lot of potential, but man, I need everybody to get healthy and stay healthy. Bulls fans, let me know what you guys are expecting this upcoming season in the comments below. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GETLIKECOOP bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.